This is the Aussie NFL Fantasy Show.
You know how sometimes the first play of the game can be a real tone setter?
Aussie.
Yeah, I basically just went with Ashton Jen Teabag.
NFL.
He's not a walking 7 for 70 as I learned last week when he went 1 for 5.
Fantasy.
I'd probably lean towards taking Henry maybe ahead of McCaffrey just because of what I've seen.
The Aussie NFL Fantasy Show. Loading.
Australia's premier NFL fantasy football show is back. It is the Sunday show, and we do it all for the Aussie Gridiron Network. This is the Aussie NFL Fantasy Show, and they call me Matty C. And joining me today, as you heard all of last week, as you heard on Friday's show too, is the irrepressible nature of Taylor Goodall. How are you, mate?
Matty C, we're here with Josh Haywood. I'm feeling in my pants. There's nothing soft. I can only feel wood. Let's go.
It's a bit like that joke about Carrie Underwood. I'm carrying Underwood right now. Pretty exciting to have you back, Josh.
I definitely moved that around. It's like Hey Ward or Hey Wet. Like I definitely just used your last name to my own advantage to rhyme it with wood. So I don't.
Thanks for having me back.
Good to have you back. I like that you're not so precious about your surname, then. That's a good start. You're going to get called a lot worse things if you hang around us than just having your surname slightly mispronounced for convenience sake. So, I mean, you've heard it say, and I attack each other.
Yes.
Yeah. Josh, good to have you back in, mate. Clearly, the Friday show, not sufficient trauma, because here you are, 2 days later, willing to go through this whole rigmarole again. Have you had somebody do a mental health check on you? I'm just checking.
Not yet, but I think it will be necessary after this.
Soon.
Afterwards, it will be. Absolutely. Mate, the Friday show, we were really grateful to have you on. It was fantastic to get to spend a little bit of time to get to know you and your life in fantasy football. For those who haven't caught that, please make sure you take the time to go and do that, because Josh is going to be with us for the rest of the show. And it's just great to get a little bit of context on our guest, and then we also ran him through some pretty rough segments. We put him through the breakouts and also the tipping point. Mate, I'm looking forward to what the results of the tipping point are going to be like. But today, the Sunday show, we've got some serious business. We're on a serious face. First thing we always talk about on the mailbag, we like to dive in the mailbag and talk to some of the things that are going on in the world with some of our listeners and get into some really specific problems to try and help out. And we also play starts of the week. And mate, I've been deep into fantasy football podcasts. No one does a segment like we do here on Starts of the Week, and I'm looking forward to getting to run you through that as well. Tay, there's a segment we have not prepared Josh for, and he's not allowed to be prepared for. Do you want to tell him why?
Let's go. I feel like we haven't done this in a while.
Ambush.
We sort of let some of the people that came on to the second for a second time off the hook a little bit. Josh, we did not tell you about this one. So for anyone that we've had that's been new on the podcast, and we actually did it with some people that came around for a second time as well, we do a little segment to get to know the guests. So for anyone listening, it's just good to sort of take a step away. Some of the questions are about fantasy and some of them aren't. Some of them are just wild and wacky and just completely weird and, wankerish like Matty C and I are. So, mate, strap yourself in because get ready for 5 questions from 2 wankers.
Another great guest is here. Are they up to the standard?
Busier than a one-legged cat in a sandbox, so I am good.
My boy! Only one way to find out.
This is what the people come here for.
I've heard everyone's answers about these, and I've had to think about it.
5 questions. 2 dickheads. Loading.
Immediately, you look a little nervous.
He's pumped.
Let's go. Shut up and root more for it.
He's cracking the neck. He's limbering up. He's ready. He's doing some stretches. I love this. Mate, this is a segment that we introduced to just to get to know the guest. And what we used to do is we'd run it on the first show to try and limber the guest up. But man, you came in so hot, we kind of felt like we didn't need to do it straight away and we could hold on to it for the Sunday show. And what's great about it is it's going to test a little bit of fantasy football, but it's also just going to take you to places you never thought you were going to be taken on a weeknight. So enjoy. I'm going to give you the soft pitch to open up. And this is kind of something that we've planned in advance and we generally would do when we have a guest through first, is that, mate, sometimes it's easiest to just talk about something that's an area of comfort. What's something that most people don't know about you that an audience might find interesting or exciting?
What excites me?
A Patriots win.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah. NFL is definitely something that I really enjoy, but I guess for me, I just love being down the beach every chance I get. You know what I mean? It's some people have their things that relax them. And everyone who's close to me knows that I'm down the beach at least once a week, and it's just my spot. Whenever you're sort of in a bad headspace, it just really helps me a lot. And I'm not afraid to say that either. Like if I'm in a bad headspace, I'll let people know around me, just so that I can be a better dad, I guess. So that's probably the most important thing to me, be a good partner, be a better dad. So, yeah, down the beach I go.
Hey, I love this.
It's perfect, mate. We're the same. Like, Kez and I grew up right near a beach, like when we first moved to Australia, and it was kind of one of the things I missed when I moved to Canberra. Don't get me wrong, there was a lot I loved about Canberra, but not being by that beach sort of was a little bit tough at times. So, yeah, mate, I'm with you. I'm like both of my boys straight away. I got them into nippers and got them around the beach scene, and being back to Wollongong, it's definitely been a huge positive having the boys by a beach, because like my wife and I both love it as well, mate. So I'm with you, and honestly, anything you can do to clear your head, mate, there's nothing wrong with telling us about that, because we've all been there. I even took a break from the podcast because I wanted to clear my head for a bit, mate.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's the best thing you can do to support your family, and it's great. We absolutely love the beach as well, mate.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in the surf club, so I did surf lifesaving until my first son came along.
Yeah,
I did surf boats. I rode surf boats for about 15 years. I was involved with coaching people how to do their bronze medallion and all sorts of stuff. It's a really good movement to be a part of. A lot of really cool people there. So yeah, and then surfing whenever I can as well.
Couple of things, right? Like important. We live on an enormous island, so important to be comfortable around water. But also just the social aspect sounds like it's really, just the community around there sounds like it's just a really great bunch of people to be around.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a surf club based at Maria, which a lot of ACT people venture out to.
Yeah.
There you go, Maddie. Off you go.
Yeah, us mountain people who don't have a beach. All of us have a hamlet, right? Where we, when we need a bit of like coastal time, we all sort of bugger off down to, and it's kind of funny because you spend a whole bunch of time like trying not to make eye contact with people here during 9 to 5 on a Monday to Friday, and then the same people you try not to make eye contact with when you're at Bateman's Bay half the summer because Canberra just moves there. But it's kind of nice to hear the whole idea of like a beach community, because being a mountain person and having always lived here and never really been a beach person, I'm always interested to hear people talk about their affinity with coast. It's really fascinating to me because it's not part of my culture. It's not part of where I've grown up. And it's for my brain clearer is go for a long fucking run. Like we've got mountains and trails and all kinds of great stuff here to go for runs up. And it always interests me to hear how people have this affinity with coast and beach. I'm always super interested to hear about.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing better to bring you back into the present moment than getting absolutely smoked by a wave and getting rinsed onto the sand.
It sounds like that's the way to make sure you remember how you fit into the universe. Yeah, I love that. How about that? The beach culture, I love that. Hey, Tay, do you want to pick up the next one?
Yeah, speaking of getting rinsed, here comes the next great question, mate, from us two wankers.
Change of speed.
All right. Yeah, absolute change of speed. I don't think we can go any further away from where we started. So, Josh, if you're in an apocalypse, would you rather be fighting zombies or aliens?
And why?
Zombies, because, I don't believe that zombies are real. And I definitely think there's something out there. And who knows what kind of technology.
So he's going to fight. Hey, this is fantastic. He's going to fight the one that's fictitious because the other one's real. And he's like, the other one's just a figment of my imagination. And if I don't believe it, it's not even there. Up yours, Tay. He's fucking broken the Matrix.
That he really did. It's like if one just doesn't exist, then yeah,
Exactly.
of course. I'll just take that one.
Yeah.
Who's he even fighting?
But,
this guy makes love, not war.
And zombies, if I'm talking about this, but zombies can only walk, right? You can't run. Whereas aliens...
Depends which zombie movie you're watching, mate.
Yeah, some of the zombie movies, they go fast, but then it's like it's very specific to what you think of with aliens and zombies. It's really user choice. Well, ugh. Sure. Yeah, it's the Michael Phelps of zombies.
But I like how Josh is just like, what fucking zombies? Did I even exist, bro?
Yeah. Nah, I reckon aliens would absolutely light us up. We get smoked. I reckon aliens could turn this planet off in a second.
That'd all be a bunch of weird Matty C's. Like, they'd just do weird shit to you.
I definitely looked a bit like Marvin the Martian when I had all my gridiron gear on because I had the shoulder pads that were like, out of a like 80s women's dress wear catalogue. They're in the, shoulder pads in those like suit jackets. And then the helmet that was so big, you actually couldn't see any of my features inside except for my eyes. So it was a bit Marvin the Martian wearing all that. But, friendly. I wasn't trying to make things go kaboom. I was a wide receiver. I was out for harmony and choreography. I wasn't out to blow things up.
I look more like that shark thing that's chasing Stitch and Lilo and Stitch.
That's an image.
I don't remember what it was. I don't know if it's a shark, but it's that massive like thing that's gone back down to earth to chase it.
Amazing. That's amazing. That's an image I'm going to carry with me for the rest of my life, Tay.
Yeah, every time I watch Lilo and Stitch, I'll think of you, Tay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I have a lot of cartoon lookalikes. I get that a lot.
Yeah, I saw you in Moana recently.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah. And then I was breaking stuff on Wreck-It Ralph.
He's been everywhere, man. He's been everywhere. Wow. Okay, we're going to fight zombies because they don't fucking exist. And aliens are real. They could be someone else's problem. Okay.
Absolutely.
Mate, I'm going to bring us back to reality a little bit with my question. And we covered a little bit of this in the Friday show just because, incidentally, the things about this came up. But we kind of learned a little bit about who your favourite NFL team is. Can you give us the clarity on who that is and sort of what led you into them?
Yeah, so I follow New England Patriots. I've followed them since the early 2000s. Bit of background on why I didn't really know much about Tom Brady, didn't have any idea about Drew Bledsoe, Bill Belichick, anything like that. It was the typical Australian. My mate's watching the game. He goes for the Giants, and it was New York Giants versus New England Patriots. So I'm like, we'll give him a bit of a fuck you and said, okay, well, I'm going to go for the other team. And
come on.
The Patriots, and I'm pretty sure the Patriots won. So that just sort of cemented the sponsor or the support from that point onwards. And then, I mean, all the Super Bowls didn't hurt either.
Tay, we are Jags and Titans fans. Do we just turn this guy's mic off?
Yeah, what's a super bowl? I've got a pretty super bowl. That's about
at least you don't go for the Falcons. 28-3.
I think I'd rather lose from 28-3 in the Super Bowl than never be one. I feel like that's something I think I'd rather have been to the dance and lost than never been at all. Tay, you know what this is like a bit.
Yeah, don't get me started. Was it 1 yard?
1 yard short. I feel like I'd rather have a 28-3 or a 1 yard short than be in my spot where it's like, I've got the Miles Jack wasn't down. That's what I've got. That was in the championship game against the Patriots where he took the fumble and was ruled down, even though there's sort of no evidence to ever show he was down. There was an inadvertent whistle, but there was nothing that showed he was down. And in the end, it was kind of important in the way the game played out as to whether that play he was called down or not. And but there's no Super Bowls. No. I don't have that pressure of the first Monday in February at all. It just doesn't exist. February, it's cricket season.
Or it was also like my birthday's beginning of February, so that Super Bowl sort of period was always even more fun when the Patriots would get up. So, yeah.
It's funny that your story is about the Pats and the Giants, and it's actually a positive and not a negative for the 2 Super Bowls they stole off you.
Oh, yeah. I don't want to talk about them.
we don't bring that up.
A minute after he's just stolen one off the fucking Falcons, but he wants to talk about that, So
Yeah. How dare we talk
revisionist
about the
history is happening here.
Let's not talk about positives, mate.
It's not.
Me and Matty C are all negative.
Now-
All sorts of shit else.
So there's a trapdoor to this question, but I don't know. Does it
Yeah.
really fit here?
It kind of does for about a season and a half.
Go on then.
When did you realize your team sucked?
For that 18 weeks.
Well, really, it was when Tom Brady left.
Yeah.
Not necessarily.
When the
sucked,
Titans
but-
ended Tom Brady's Pats career.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
it was
no love for Mac Jones.
The last Mac Jones, I don't know. He just sort of, I feel like a lot of the quarterbacks that were in that Mac Jones sort of era are blooming now, and none of them really took off back then. So even Jacoby Brissett, he's starting to go all right. And then, the Gerard Mayo season. Let's not talk about that one.
Didn't go the best.
Because I mean, I don't know why they Vrabes didn't get the call up earlier. To be honest,
You and I have each had coaches for far shorter periods of time than the Patriots had Gerard Mayo. And listen to this prick complaining about it. Oh, Gerard Mayo. Oh, he was only there for a whole season. Mate, do you know how long Urban Meyer was at the Jags?
Oh.
7 weeks. 7 weeks.
He was just kicking punters and kicking people on his own team. Fuck it all. What an absolute
Brought in
disaster.
Tebow and sent Tebow and then followed Tebow. It was there. The whole thing was comical. And this guy was complaining about a
half
full
the,
year uninterrupted.
Speaking of
it's almost like half the New England team at the moment are from Tennessee. But
yeah, I was going to say. Speaking of Vrabel, just another great decision letting him go for absolutely no reason. How good.
Yeah, go Titans. Let's go. Tighten up.
The only thing that made sense is if you wanted to bottom out, it made sense getting rid of Vrabel because he's the kind of coach that would get 6 wins from the worst roster in history. So, in that sense, it kind of made sense, but it hasn't really helped them by bottoming out yet. They kind of need to keep doing it for 4 more seasons to have any kind of roster that's going to compete. So, yeah, it's going to be a fun next half a decade. It's going to be so good.
No shame in having top 5 picks for about 12 years in a row, Tay. I can tell you. No shame.
No, not at all. How good.
You cannot feel shame if you're going to do that. This is the problem Josh doesn't have.
We'd rather just pay old receivers that have, peaked 5 years earlier.
Yeah. Do you remember that time Randy Moss was in the Titans jersey? Me either.
Neither does Randy.
We remember him in a Patriots jersey. I've got him in a Patriots jersey, my only Patriots jersey, because I've tried to collect as many NFL jerseys as I can, is Randy Moss. So how about that?
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Too right. So it turns out the Patriots really only sucked for about, a month there, and that was a tough month, and then everything's fine again. So I'm not going to take this shit out of you, Josh, I'm afraid.
Yeah, the trapdoor had cement under it. It didn't really fall in.
Yeah. No, trampoline at the bottom. He just fucking bounces straight back out. He's like Super Mario. Yeah, fantastic. The little column that he goes down, the little chute that he goes down is just full of fucking gold coins. Motherfucker. So there you go.
All right. Could you not hear me talking?
Do you want to pick up question 4?
Okay, sorry. It said reconnecting, so I couldn't tell whether it was all working or not. All right, Josh, next question. It's a bit of a thinker. What would you put on your NFL Fantasy Tinder profile to lure a potential mate? It could be like a tagline to do with fantasy. Like it could be someone even just said they put a picture of themselves holding their fantasy trophy. Or just honestly, it could be anything.
What would I want to put
like some kind
on my Tinder
tagline for
NFL
something to do
Fantasy
with NFL
Tinder
fantasy.
profile to lure a partner? For my NFL Fantasy Tinder profile, I would have for the picture, I'd have a glass bowl with some keys in it, and say,
It's a good start.
So trade me yours and I'll trade you mine.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
Josh,
There's a new shirt.
you're a national treasure. Yeah, fantastic. I love this, and that
kind
is
of want that
endorsed
shirt.
by the
I
entire
actually-
Aussie Gridiron Network.
I think I'm going to
Fantastic.
buy it.
Yeah,
But
Love
mate,
that.
just put like glass bowl with like keys with like
I
the
love
tags
that.
for NFL teams.
Yeah, I think just some players, some really enigmatic players, maybe, and just be like, just stick your head in the bowl and see what you get out.
He's attracting swingers on this Tinder
Loving that.
profile.
Kind of feel like I'd be at that party. I don't think that would surprise
can we
anyone.
watch the
to be
Jags
honest.
game?
Jesus.
Oh, brilliant.
That's so good. Mate, I want to pull this one to a rather, a sensible close and just ask you, in the period you've been playing fantasy football, has been one player in particular who has been your favourite in fantasy for whatever reason?
I mean, I've been playing fantasy for only a couple of years.
Yeah.
Just say, he has
I
to
would have to say Jonathan Taylor this year because he
fucking solid.
is just ridiculous. Like there's plenty of talk out there at the moment that he should get the MVP. I mean, what was it? Last running back MVP was Adrian Peterson in 2012, and he's already surpassed those numbers. And he's just such a fun player to watch. Like, he's from a team that I do not support at all. And you just watch the highlights of him and just like, wow, this guy is an absolute machine.
So he's in our division. We generally dislike him quite a lot for NFL purposes, but for fantasy purposes, he's been fun this year. In a way, I certainly didn't expect him to have the year he's having. We were kind of both a little low on him compared
He's
to
been a
consensus.
funny player. Like, he's been one
Not
of
to
these
cheer
guys
for him,
that
yeah.
I've almost never drafted. It's not that I've hated the talent or anything. It's just always been weird. Like, he had that massive breakout year, was it 2020 or 2021, where he had like the 20 touchdowns and he was like everyone's running back darling in fantasy. And then he's kind of been super disappointing, whether it's been injury or just the Colts kind of licking nuts. And like, it's just been a tough go for him. And then he kind of wasn't used in the passing game the last few years. So he was super like touchdown reliant. And he's actually been super disappointing for owners in the last like 2 to 3 years. But then this year, he's just repaid that in spades. Like, he's just like taken the last like 3 years of frustration and just taken it out in one season. So he's kind of just gone where the Colts have gone. And that's not to take it away from him. Like, it's been off his back. Like, he deserves to be in the MVP like conversation. But I think a lot of the reasons why like some people were down on him was because we didn't believe in the Colts. And the Colts have just been a complete revelation this year. So if we knew the Colts were going to be this good, I think a lot of us would have been far higher on Jonathan Taylor. So, mate, he's just been amazing. So good on him.
Would
Yes.
he go 101
Easy.
in a standard format? Absolutely.
I would find it hard to argue with the guy who did it. I wouldn't do it, but I find it hard to argue with the guy who does, because the volume's there and he gets just enough passing work on top of the yardage. But to me, there's probably going to be guys who get, plenty of rushing attempts, who get just more work in the passing game, who I'm going to be excited about as a running back. Or there's going to be guys like Jamar Chase. So is he a wrong answer? I don't think he's a wrong answer, but he's probably not what I'm going to do. If we redrafted today, I don't know he would be my 101 now either, but I would not sneeze at the guy who did it. Like, how do you make that guy sound like a pelican? Like, Jonathan Taylor, we were only talking about this on Supercoach podcast. He's got 100 points more than the highest scoring quarterback.
Yeah, and I think that, the absurdness is what makes him so much fun to watch as well.
Yeah. When he goes and throws up a 49 fucking point day before you even wake up in the morning on a Sunday, and you go, well, I've won my fantasy week. There's nothing about that isn't fun, because you spend your whole morning in a damn good mood.
And his name.
Yep.
And his
Like he
name's
gets turned
Taylor.
off for the day.
So that's
Can't argue with it, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's got a
Even if
shitty
it's
wire.
misspelled. Yeah, that counts. That counts. Mate, but that brings us to the end of 5 questions from 2 wankers. Thank you so much for playing, Josh. And from here, we're back to our regular programming of stuff we actually prepared you was going to happen. We do like to throw in a little bit of an ambush on our new faces. So thank you so much for playing, mate.
Thank you. That wasn't too bad.
Surely you must have questions.
Please reach out to us.
When Tate and I get asked about fantasy advice, we are not backwards about coming forwards at any stage.
Get your question read live on the show.
If you've got a mailbag question, or if you're really keen to just get on the show, we'll make it work.
At Aussie NFL Fantasy on Facebook and Instagram.
Hey, we want to dive into the mailbag. We like to do this segment to try and help out the average Joe who's out there playing NFL fantasy, like you or I. The first one here is from Special Fried Bryce, which is fantastic. The handles, I just love the handles. The first one is rest of season. It's a wide receiver question. Diggs or McMillan, and that's Teteroa McMillan, the Panthers wide receiver, rest of season.
Been so fucking.
Tell you which way would you lean, mate?
Year. He was on a trajectory of I understood why it was slow initially, coming off the ACL, and it felt like his snaps were ramping up. Then he had that massive day when you got him in starts of the week, Matty C, against the Bills. And he was just getting every target. He looked like he was honestly back to Buffalo days. And then it's just gone
10
away.
for 146 or something. Yeah, it's mad.
He was on a trajectory of starting to be the dude again. And then all of a sudden it's just been bits and pieces of, Kayshon Boutte or Mac Hollins or, it's sprinkling of Stephon Diggs. And it's just been guys all over the place. And it's hard to actually trust it at all. It's there's been, to be honest,
Hunter Henry week, I feel like, too, mate.
He's just kind of chipped in here and there, but there was some consistency at the start of the year. That's what worries me with him, though. It's I think there's going to be maybe 3 awesome games for Stephon Diggs moving forward, but there's probably going to be 4 shit ones, and it's which ones do I start him on? Whereas with Tet, yes, it's frustrating because Bryce doesn't throw for a lot of yards, and sometimes Tet's the leader in receptions and he's got 45 yards in the team, and it's sucks ass. But I just know he's the bona fide one in his team. So, and there's obviously chances. I know the Panthers have surprised, but generally they're going to be down in games. So I would take Tet moving forward because I just don't trust what's going on. Yes, Drake May's awesome, but it just seems to get spread around, and we're not getting that bona fide one season from Diggs that we were hoping for.
Okay. So here we go. 1 vote for Tet. Josh, what would you do in this situation if you had to pick to live with Tet or Diggs rest of the season now? From here on, what do you do?
Yeah, I'd probably go Tet as well, to be honest. I think the Josh McDaniels scheme is to spread the ball. And as you guys mentioned, there isn't a clear wide receiver 1 in the Patriots team at the moment. Whereas, Panthers have got Tet, they've got Xavier Legette.
Jalen Coker.
Jalen Coker. Not a lot.
Did count him?
So there's not a lot going on at the Panthers. And I think, I think their matchups going forward, he should be putting up some good numbers.
Yeah, he's kind of the focus. I would say Tet too. This comes with a bit of a second card too. It goes, so Tet or Diggs, and then or Debo. What do you do, Tay? Now that we've decided Tet over Diggs,
weird one,
Tet or Debo.
I don't love the Commanders moving forward, because it feels to me like a pack it up team. They had the great year last year. I'd be surprised if they bother to bring Jaden back. I just think this team's kind of basically out of it. Their defense sucks. They kind of the year from hell team in a way. And look, I think Mariota's fine. You're also going to have Terry McLaurin sort of probably come back into the fold at some stage, and then it's just kind of going to get spread around a bit. So I would probably lean Tet over Debo. If I was to rank it over these 3, I would go Tet, Debo, Diggs.
Josh, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm the same. I just don't have faith that the Commanders are going to really be able to move the ball as efficiently as what the 49ers did when they had Debo. I know he's a bit of a dual threat wide receiver. I don't know. I think Mariota sometimes he has flashes of brilliance, but I just don't think it's enough. And I would be surprised if Jaden Daniels comes back.
Flashes of of diarrhea sometimes too. So yeah, he can really bring. The only thing that kind of led me a little towards Debo is that like Terry McLaurin has kind of had the worst season you could hope for. Right, he started the season on holdout, and will they trade him? Won't they trade him? They don't. He comes back, he gets his extension, everything's happy. He immediately gets injured, and then he comes back and he immediately gets injured again, and now, like, he's not playing this week. They got a bye in week 12. The soonest we might see him is week 13. And even then, the Jaden Daniels thing is kind of in the air. But Debo's kind of their only target. It doesn't make it much different from Tet having Bryce Young. I don't know if Bryce Young's... Is he much of an upgrade from Mariota or not? I just kind of feel like that's kind of like an equalizer. It's not that one ascends from the other. It's kind of that they're all... So I don't mind if people want to throw their hat in on Debo as well. Like I just don't know there's a right answer between those two.
I think because there isn't really again, similar like you're saying, Tet and Debo both sort of in the same sort of ballpark, but Debo has more chance of getting double teamed, I think. Like there's more chance of the other team defense just sitting on him for an entire game. Put your number one corner on him. Like Washington don't really have deep ball threat. Whereas
I just think Tet's an ascending
legs,
player and Debo's a bit of an ascending player. Like I think like that's really what it comes down to for me. When I answered that, I didn't have Tet super in front of Debo. Like it was actually pretty close. Like it was a question I could understand, but I felt like they were in kind of similar situations where I don't fully trust the quarterback. Yes, they are the one, but like what's the volume going to be like? It's just the actual player that I probably would stick with Tet. I just think as a rookie, he's only getting better, and I just love his talent. And yeah, I just think that's going to win out. And he's just basically always the leader in the receiving game for them. So you're just hoping there might be some better days ahead for Bryce. We're not projecting that, but yeah, I just think Tet's completely ascending as a wide receiver.
I can special fire Bryce. We can say Tet's the favourite. Let's pack that away. Say Tet's the favourite. And if you're feeling extra spicy, extra special, extra, float Tebow out there if you want to. But we're probably leaning Tet. The second one comes in from at Disney _minus. The question is, another rest of season, Judkins or Jalen Warren? Tay, what are you doing?
I feel like I've almost always had a pretty good...
Yeah, it was better than I thought too. When I first read it, I'm like, that's Judkins. And I'm like,
as much as I'm not an enormous proponent of the Steelers offense, I still trust it more than the Browns. Like that's a very low bar. Like a gnome could buddy crawl over that bar of the Browns offense. So look, I would say, like, from what I've seen, I probably think Judkins is a bit more talented, but I don't know, like this week specifically, Warren has the best matchup possible, like against the Bengals, and I don't know, like he's a very underrated fantasy asset, Warren. I actually like him. Like, yes, he probably doesn't have enormous blow up games, but he kind of consistently gets you a very good score. I think most people out there in a trade would value Judkins a bit higher than him because you like the younger asset that you don't know exactly what the ceiling's like. But yeah, I don't know. I'm going to lean Judkins, but man, that's close. Like, I would not hate on anyone going the opposite direction.
Yeah, I know, trying to sound sexier. What are you doing here, Josh?
Yeah, I mean, sorry to sound like a broken record, but I'm going to agree with Tay. I think Judkins, he has a bit more, I think, a high upside. He's going to get the ball a little bit more. I think when Jalen Warren starts to get a little bit tired, I think Mike Tomlin said at the beginning of the week that Gainwell is going to get a bit more ball. So, yeah, I'm thinking more along the lines of Quinton Judkins, Jerome Ford, Dylan Sampson, they are there in the backfield as well. But I think Judkins is just a pretty special player, and they're going to give the ball to him.
It's kind of the same.
Else. It's pretty safe too.
Yeah, I feel like that's really good advice for at Disney_minus. We kind of all leaning that way, and I think you probably should too for the rest of the season. Last one here comes from at Tempestuous6, and I feel like we spoke to Tempestuous6 earlier in the year. He's got a question for you. Can I drop Jordan Love? Other players available include Darnold, Purdy, Jez, Arthur. What do you do? Do you drop Jordan Love, Josh, or do you run with one of these other guys?
Oh, I would. That's a tough one. I think you got to look at players like Sam Darnold and who he's got around him. They've picked up Rashid Rice, Smith and Jigba. He's just going ballistic.
Yeah.
In terms of actual throwing numbers, I'd probably go for Darnold. I just don't really have faith in Romeo Dobbs and that sort of crew.
He can be a little tough to trust, Romeo Dobbs, and then when you look at the other guys in that lineup too, like for instance, Dobbs goes to the he goes in at about half time, and in the second half, they're without Matthew Golden, without Tucker Kraft, their number one is probably Christian Watson, who's a little underdone. He hasn't been out there all season. Dontavian Wicks, who Taylor jokes has. It's not Dontavian Wicks, it's Dontavian Dix, because that's what he has for fingers. And then also, then you're making the rest up with guys like Bo Melton and some of these guys who probably wouldn't be on a roster in any other teams. It can be tough to trust Love. And we really thought Love was probably due for a pretty good fantasy season, just knowing that he was going to have the addition of a guy like Matthew Golden, and Tucker Kraft was probably going to have a really good role. Some of these things now aren't possible while they're both hurt. So I would have done the same thing and lent initially to either Darnold or McCarthy and just said, throw your chips on one of them for the rest of the season and feel free to let Love go if you can't afford to keep him. And I would support dropping him in a 10-team league. Bigger than that, it's hard to justify because, I wonder how sustainable it is going to be. And in a bigger depth of league, you might not have the strength at some of the other positions where Love isn't all bad matchups for the rest of the year. And this particular matchup is pretty good, but we know that NFC North isn't short of good defenses. So I'd definitely support the dropping of Love if you're in a standard league. But I'm okay with either Darnold or McCarthy. I'm not sure whether I'd be necessarily happy to throw him away for some of these other names. How do you feel about some of these other names that were brought up there? We had Purdy and we had Rodgers. They were the other two that were brought up. Would you turf Love for either of them, Josh?
Probably not Rodgers. Oh, sorry, probably not Purdy.
Probably not Purdy either.
No, I just don't think. I think, looking at the receiving team or receiving core at the 49ers, they've been leaning so heavily on CMC as a RB/receiver. I think Juwan Jennings, who knows, I think Ricky Pearsall's supposed to be back this week potentially. And then, you look at the Steelers and Rodgers has got DK. But other than that, I just don't really see a lot of upside in either of those two at the moment. I mean, Rodgers is still doing what he does, but the younger players, I think Jordan Love has similar sort of team around him as what Rodgers and Pearsall do. Sorry, Purdy do. But he's got the legs. And I think he's got a bit of creativity. 49ers and Green Bay both have very similar coaches who like to throw the ball, like to do fancy sort of things. Mike Tomlin, not so much anymore. So, I'd go with the youth.
Okay, well, we were looking at probably Darnold or McCarthy, not so much Purdy and not so much Rodgers. But we could jettison Love for one of the other two. What do you think here, Are you comfortable in a 10-team league? Just punt and love?
I think I would punt him for Darnold. I've been pretty on the record of just saying, like, pretty early on that I just think Darnold has been we deserve to respect him now. Like, he's done it. But yes, he did it in the KOC offense last year, but he was put honestly in a situation that I don't think a lot of us thought he would succeed in, and he has, and we have to give him the credit for it. And I know that's not so much a fantasy take, but I just think we need to trust that he is the right guy for this team. And the fact is, I honestly think JSN is the best wide receiver in the league. I know that probably is a hot take given the guys that are in the league, but I love him. I have been so on this ever since the guy came into the league. I think he has just been an amazing talent that wasn't used correctly in his rookie season, and now he's getting a chance to showcase his talent with no Lockett and no Metcalf in front of him. And the fact that he's got that bona fide number one to throw to is just an amazing start. Honestly, getting Rashid Shaheed, I think, is going to be a help. I think they're going to be able to use him in the offense to move. He's going to be a deep threat. He's going to be, I know this doesn't help him for fantasy, but they can even give it to him on the ground to move the ball. I just think it's going to help the offense in general. And you've still got Cooper Kupp as like a wide receiver 2/3 in his team. Even Torrey Horton has flashed this offense is set up for success, and I just think Darnold, like I brought up with Stafford, yes, these pocket passes do have to do a lot in fantasy to be relevant, but if they've got all the pieces around them, all the tools to help them succeed, it makes it a lot easier. So, Stafford got Devontae Adams as his touchdown threat, and look, he's killing it in fantasy this year. I just think Darnold's in a similar boat where he's getting helped out by a lot of talent around him as well as him playing well. So I would do it for Darnold. I don't mind McCarthy. Like, I like his matchup this week. He's getting better each game, but I think I would probably order it as Love second to Darnold. And then I probably would go Purdy.
Okay.
I'm probably putting Rodgers last, let's be honest. I
think we all did. We all sort of did, yeah.
I'd probably put McCarthy second to last, Purdy in the middle. I'd probably put Love second, and I'd have Darnold first.
All right, so tempestuous 6, do with that as you will. We don't actually mind the idea of tipping Love, but depending on how spicy you want to get, we pretty well all are saying, mate, we wouldn't feel horrible doing it for Darnold, but depending on how you feel, it's either Purdy, McCarthy, but probably not for Rodgers under any circumstances. And even then, McCarthy and Purdy depends on your personal comfort level. So do with that as you will. Great thing about this is, everyone gets to make good decisions or bad decisions for the fantasy team, and you get to learn from it. That's kind of the fun of this, and we can try and offer a little bit of advice, but ultimately you got to make the decision and feel good about it. Fellas, that's the mailbag, and what that does is it brings us to the crowning moment of our week, and it is my favorite segment. We've been doing this thing for a few years now, and it is just the best fun. It is the starts of the week. Tell you what, Josh, you have walked into what is now the very last segment of our entire week. It brings us to a spot where we have to draft a team based on players who are started in less than 50% of leagues, and then we're going to try and make that team score as many damn points as we can get them to. But there are some twists.
Born in the heart of the earth, shaped by fire, wind, and time itself, this trophy is no mere prize. It is an artifact of legend, passed through the hands of kings and conquerors, scholars and sages. Its worth measured not in gold, but in the wisdom it bestows. Now it rests with us, the chosen stewards, entrusted to guard its legacy. Only he who offers the truest insight, the boldest foresight, shall lift it high and claim his place among the immortals. This is the Aussie NFL Fantasy Show, starts of the week.
There's been different iterations of this over the last few years. We've sort of added bits and pieces, as time's gone by. But what we've gone with is you are picking one quarterback, one running back, one wide receiver, one tight end, and a flex. So you need, obviously there's going to be 5 rounds, so it's going to go back and forth and snake, and I'll be picking the order because I won last week.
Yes,
but
you did.
What was added this year, which I thought went hand in hand with our Supercoach podcast, but I had actually come up with this idea before we even knew Supercoach was coming out. I just thought it was a cool concept, is that your last player that you pick in the draft will be your captain, will get double scored. And it can't be a quarterback. So it can be any of the other positions. It doesn't even have to be your flex technically. It can be, you can take a running back and then a running back again, and then your wide receiver or tight end will be your captain at the end. The idea is that you can't leave quarterback till last, but you can leave any other position till last, and that player in the last round will be your captain and get double points. Yeah, it's just a bit of a cool concept. And like Matty C said, everyone that's under 50% started, so we're not out there picking Jamar Chase and I'm on St. Brown. So yeah, it's just a bit of a fun game that we've come up, and obviously you're representing Team World. Everyone that comes on to the podcast is part of Team World. Yeah, Matty C took it down last year, and luckily enough at the moment I'm doing pretty well this year.
Yeah, and a quick recap on that. Tay currently on 25 points, so I've got 20 and World 15. The winner each week takes home 3 points. Second place gets 2. And third place gets 1, which means there's actually quite a bit of a stagger between first and second and third at the moment. So we really need to do a bit to try and turn this around. And a world win here would do wonders for the segment. Tay, at this stage, has not tasted third place. I feel like, Josh, it's time. It's time. You and I, we can do this. The way this has to work, though, Tay's going to pick our draft order. We are just completely victims to what he does there. But then we get to make some pretty savvy choices from there about what we do with the first 4 rounds, where you have to make sure you take a quarterback in one of those picks in the first 4 rounds, and then how we use our flex, because that 5th round, especially, 5th round is a repeat of the 4th round. So whoever Taylor puts in first pick, he goes first pick in the first round, second pick and third pick. That then gets reversed like a usual snake draft. Third round is the same as the first. 4th round is the same as the second. But the 5th round, the captaincy round, is the same as the 4th. So if you're getting the benefit of picking first in the draft, you're also suffering having to have last shot at captain. Other way around, though, if you're picking last in the first round, you get the benefit of first choice of your double point player. And again, just cannot be a quarterback. Does all make sense?
Yeah. Got it. I think.
Are you sure? Because I need you to fucking slay this week, brother. Slay.
I could slay a pick. I don't know if it's the right pick.
Come on, King, let's go. I believe in you.
Otherwise, Jackson's going to get the shits at you in the group chat.
And Jackson's like 6'8". He would be a big shoe to have up your ass, mate. Kev the same. I think Kev's 6'5" too. He's a big boy. Some of the world guys have been. Ian, I think he's a pretty tall bloke, isn't he? Like there's some big shoes who are.
Yeah, they could create a good offensive line, and that's in the world.
If only they could pick a good fucking fantasy team. That's the thing.
Yeah,
come on, Josh, you can do this. All right, Tay, do you want to give us the draft order so we can put ourselves out of our misery and start to work out what we're going to do with our draft picks?
Alrighty, so I am going to put Josh first. Well, Team World can go first.
Okay.
Going back and forward here, I think I'm gonna stick with last week. Last week went pretty well, so I'm gonna put myself at the arsehole end and go third. And with the first, obviously having the first pick at captain at the end, so I'll put myself at third, Matty C at second, and the Team World first.
Okay. So, Josh, that means you'll get the benefit of the first overall pick, but last shot in the captaincy round. Good news is, you can feel free to start naming names. Tell us somebody you would like to take here, because the clock is on, and hopefully you can pick a real fucking humdinger and get your team off to a great start, like you were saying people should do with Drake May with your breakouts, mate. Who have you got for your first pick in this draft, mate?
For the first pick, I'm going to go Kenneth Gainwell, the Steelers.
Hey, okay.
Like I said earlier, they're playing the Bengals, which are also a bit of a sieve.
A bit of a sieve. Just like the Pope's a bit Catholic.
Just a bit. And like I said earlier, Mike Tomlin's already come out saying that he's going to share the snaps with or the Jalen Warren can't take all the snaps. So, yeah, I think Kenneth Gainwell's going to get a bit more involved this week.
Sounds good, mate.
It's hard to argue with too, because you know that backfield has not been all Warren all the time, and Gainwell's definitely had his weeks where he's gone and thrown up some trouble, like that game over at Dublin where he ran all over the damn Vikings. It's a nice little pick and a good way to kick off the World campaign, mate. 23% started, he counts.
And the good news is, like, even if he gets like 25% of the work against the Bengals, that could be like 15 points.
This is tricky because I sort of got to the spot where I knew all the people who I thought were going to be worthwhile in this segment, and I hadn't put percentages next to any of them yet. But I'm going to be a bit of a psycho and just go straight into my quarterback because I feel like it'd be good just to get that out of the way because there's positions of much more depth that I'm kind of into. And we're only talking about this bloke a moment ago. It's a tough defense, though, but I'm still going to lean on Sam Darnold. 67% owned, but 31% started. And because of the teams coming back from a bye, and there's only 2 on a bye, his start percentage has actually dropped this week, and he's down to 31%. And I'm going to take him and just hope old Ginger Megs does me proud, mate.
It's funny, like, because I do so much analysis on matchups and stuff, I actually didn't have him on my list, and that isn't to say he's not a great pick. Like, it was probably just because it was the Rams, but you do actually have to pass. You actually do have to pass on the Rams, like, if you're going to win. So I actually have no problem with, like, I think he'll have a better matchup against a good team than he would, like, last week where they were just up 28-0 after like 2 seconds and he didn't have to throw at all. So
there were 2 defensive touchdowns in that. And it's like he scored 6 points last week in fantasy in a game where they put up 44. It's not fair.
Yeah, and he was Team World's quarterback, so unlucky to Courtney.
And he's a Seahawks fan, so he felt like he was doing the right thing twice. So I'm just hoping Courts just give me a little bit of luck, and I'll redeem Dance for you, mate. Issue here is we've got our running back, we've got our quarterback. Now Tay gets 2 picks. So we're just going to hope he does minimal damage here, Josh. And we'll just let this idiot run around like an idiot in a china shop and just let him break some shit before us sensible people come back and pick some winners.
Right. I've got someone that I want to ask a question about.
Shoot.
Because it's one of those ones where, like, if his starter kind of gets ruled out, he'd be higher, but it's still iffy, blah, blah, blah. He's at 45 at the moment. I've got RJ Harvey.
Now, Josh, this one's fun because he was 44% started last week as it was, and he is trickling upwards because Dobbins, he hasn't been ruled out, but he's seeking additional opinions on his ankle. Like, I'm pretty comfortable to let Tay have him because I'm 100% willing to take your ruling if you go, fuck you, Tay. You can make him pick someone else.
It's a bad matchup. I know technically matchup shouldn't matter. It's more about like star percentage and stuff, but that's what worries me about the pick. But I just thought
They're at home in Kansas City as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy for that to go through. I agree. J.K. Dobbins hasn't been ruled out yet. That's all we can really... that's all we can go off.
Nice.
Okay, we're comfortable with it. And Josh, for the record, if you told him to just ram it up his arsehole and pick someone else, I would have just stood next to you and said, fuck you, Tay. Ram it up your arsehole and pick someone else.
Yeah, I also think the matchup is a strong matchup.
It is a matchup. It's not it's not a slam dunk matchup at all. And that's kind of why I thought he may fit better, if that makes sense. It's almost like if it's Harvey and there's no Dobbins and he's up against the fucking Bengals, then it's like, everyone can start him. But
this is a Tay's leading starts of the week pick as well. If he's 10 points behind, he's not going this risky. This is him going. Yeah. So this is also why I'm kind of willing to entertain it, is that if the situation was different, he wouldn't even be bringing this guy up. So he knows how iffy he is, and I'm willing to let him hang himself.
Sweet. All right. This is the Matty C. I spoke to you this morning where I had like a few guys in like each position that I just kind of wrote down without even looking at this percentage, and it was like based off matchup and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's at the top of my list still. And he's kind of iffy enough that, like, I don't think I'll probably want to put him as, like, a captaincy option. So I think I'd kind of like what I did with Jamo last week, where I was like, so hit and miss that I don't think I'd want to be looking at him as a possible, like, captaincy
option. If you captained him last week, you would have put up 340.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was a good pick in the end, but I kind of like to take in like this, especially like you said, where I'm at. I probably just want the safer sort of captaincy options, but this is such a good matchup for this guy. He's playing every single fucking snap. I had a look at his last 2 weeks. He's playing 97% and 100%, and they've traded away essentially the wide receiver one on the team. I'm going to take Trey Tucker against the Cowboys. I just think he's the most trusted wide receiver at this time. Yes, Brock Bowers is going to get the most volume, but I just think for a big play against this terrible defense, even their trades the Cowboys made, it's more to shore up the running game more so than the passing. So if anything, there's probably more reason for the Raiders to pass. So yeah, I just really love the matchup for Trey Tucker, but I think he's iffy enough that I probably wasn't looking to hold out and hope I got him as a captain. So yeah, I think he's still predicated on some big plays, but I think he's actually like sort of earned his stripes this year.
As to say, he's been playing like over 90% of snaps pretty much the entirety of the year, but all of a sudden you'd like to think his target share should be a little bit more favourable. Mate, look, this time last week he was starting in a quarter of leagues. This time this week he started in a third of leagues.
Exactly.
100% fits the segment, and I'm pretty happy to watch you have this guy go and throw up a 5.2, and we'll move on.
That wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, no, I'm okay with letting you do that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it was. It was just like, obviously the thoughts of targeting like the Cowboys and the Bengals are always there. And when I thought about it, he was just the first person that came to my mind because I knew he would fit this segment. So, and then, yeah, I just really like this matchup. So I'm targeting it.
Yeah, I'd 100% be going for it too. Oh God, I've taken players. The next guy I want to take, I know this is the thing, like we've already had, you've taken a running back. Josh has taken a running back. Any other year, just go, I can wait till the last round. The flex fucks this up. You feel pressure to do stuff. And I like wide receivers so much. I went 14 deep at wide receiver. I'm just like, there's a million of them. But there isn't a million running backs. And I've taken Kareem Hunt twice.
Yeah.
And each time he scored me 4.4. Not more, not less. Exactly that both times. Am I stupid enough to do this again?
He's on my list.
Do I love torture this much? Like, I'm Irish. My people have put up with a lot of persecution, but this time it's not the English. This time it's me. Am I willingly? I'm doing it, aren't I? Yeah, okay, I'm doing it. Kareem Hunt against Denver. So again, not the world's best matchup, but mate, like Pacheco has been nothing going into the bye. You had all the work and did nothing with it. Coming out of the bye, it just kind of feels like the only thing they can do. It's not like they've got this amazing passing game that's lighting up 450 yards on anybody. It just kind of feels like that's where the touchdown's coming from, right? Isn't it?
Yeah. Shard Smith didn't get it at all. Yeah, he's just basically getting everything. So yeah, I would have probably. I mean, I don't know if I would have taken him because I don't know if I would have taken another running back, but he definitely was on my list.
Yeah. And I mean, he's 11% started. Pacheco's started in more leagues, but he's questionable. He's coming in the week questionable, and I don't love it. So that's it. I'm doing it. It's Kareem Hunt at home to Denver, 11%. I've locked it in. Josh, it's not a great pick, I don't reckon, but, he might just have that same day he had against the Jags where he just flops over for 2 touchdowns and 35 yards, and that's enough for me. You get the benefit of a double pick here. You've got a running back. You can now feel free to take either your quarterback, wide receiver, tight end, or you can double down at either running back, wide receiver, tight end, and nail away your flex if you've got some conviction on someone you want to hold on to for your captain in a later round. So you've got a lot of options here, mate.
Yeah, I mean, I've thought about my second round pick for a little bit longer than I should have.
It's a long way back, isn't it? Oh my God.
And just looking at the names I got on my list, I'm going to go for a wide receiver. And I'm going to go for a rookie wide receiver who is bouncing off another rookie wide receiver as well in Tez Johnson. I think because the Bucks wide receiver room is quite damaged at the moment with Godwin out and Mike Evans as well. I think Tez Johnson's going to... I mean, he had a good game last week against New England, including that garbage time touchdown. But, I mean, you look back at the numbers the past 5 weeks or so, and he's been pretty consistent. I think against the Bills as well, like we said before, no one's scared of the Bills defense. I think, as I've said, a couple of other teams as well, the Bills defense are probably focused more on Ibuka, which should hopefully open up Tez Johnson.
I mean, you hope so. The guy's played 4 games with meaningful snaps, and he's got 4 touchdowns. But the last game was the first time he had more than 80% of snaps, and he ends up with 2. Not a heap of targets, but he gets the touchdowns. So, why not, right? Why not?
Yeah, exactly. Let's see how we go.
So he's 29% started, and 100%. He's the right sort of guy for this segment because he's owned by sort of 2/3 of fantasy owners, but 2/3 of fantasy leagues. So he's kind of widely available to pick up as well. But just not a lot of folks starting him. And that is exactly what I hope for: is people to just kind of stick their chips on a guy who's lowly started, and that's what we're about.
Mm-hmm.
All right, quarterback, tight end or flex here. That's your next move.
I'm going to go quarterback because I don't think he'll be there by the time he gets back to me. I'm going to go Caleb Williams.
Tay loves a bit of Caleb.
Yeah.
He's sitting just under the 50%, I think.
Yep. No, he's perfect for this segment. Even if he was at 51 or whatever, you'd be like, he fits. Like, it's not like people are tripping over themselves to start him.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the offense is starting to really, really move at the moment. I mean, do we want to talk about who'd they play last week? Giants. Yeah, like he put up some good numbers there. He's playing against Minnesota this week. Yeah, I think Caleb Williams should be able to put up some good numbers.
4 teams on a bye last week. 2 teams this week. So his start percentage is going down. He's at 48 last week. He's now at 45. 100% perfect for the segment. He's been doing enough score points. Tay, you had him in starts a week last week, and he had about 9 points going into the fourth quarter. He winds up with about 18. So this is a perfect guy, right?
Yeah. I liked that matchup against the Giants last week, and I stacked him up with Loveland, and it was looking amazing there for a while, but he just sort of stayed the course, and generally the Giants fold and fuck up leads, and that's what happens. Yeah, Caleb's been like good without being amazing. It's been a funny year. Like, I don't know if you're a Bears fan, if you're actually stoked at what you've seen from Caleb, or if you're just happy enough that he hasn't been a disaster. It's been a bit funny this year, but like for fantasy, he's definitely had some pretty decent performances. So yeah, I've got no problem with this game because I do think there might be some points in this Vikings Bears game. So yeah, absolutely no problem with taking him.
Yeah, I reckon you did right. Because neither defense is super terrifying. So, and indoors also controls a bit of the environmental thing that you might worry about at this time of year if it was in Chicago. So it was kind of nice that these guys played their Chicago version of this divisional rivalry game in week 1. Because playing there now, environment might get in the way. I'm in a position where I'm looking at a wide receiver because, full disclosure, I'm probably looking at taking a wide receiver as my flex as well, to be honest. It's the position that I think is the deepest. Haven't seen Tez Johnson go. I really like the look of him. I wasn't as enamored by Trey Tucker. I didn't mind that Tay took him because he was on my list, but I wasn't super excited about him. There's one player who just kind of re-emerged this week that I was kind of excited to see was Jerry Jeudy. He's up against a Baltimore secondary who still aren't terrifying, although points per game, they've actually, as a defense, really honed in a bit on how many points a opposing team scores against them. But they still move the ball. It still drags up points, and they're still allowing points, just not millions and millions of them like they were in the first few weeks of the season. But I'm going to go and take Jerry Jeudy. He's currently started in 21% of leagues, owned in about 60%. And after a nice week last week where he kind of reestablished himself as the one, because Cedric Tillman is back as well, has taken a little bit of heat off him, gave him a little room to move. And against Baltimore in Cleveland, not terrifying to me. I'm pretty happy to lean on this hometown wide receiver against Baltimore.
Yeah, 12 targets, I think, from Jeudy. Yeah, no problem.
It really was. And I think Tillman has a lot to do with that.
I always have trust issues with Dylan Gabriel, but they're going to have to throw. Like, they're going to have to keep up with this Ravens team. So, yeah, if there's ever going to be a game where like Dylan Gabriel sort of just falls ass backwards into like some passing yards, it's going to be this one.
So that's all I'm hoping for. Tay, you're in a position now with a 3-4 swing. One of these guys has to be quarterback. Josh and I already have one. So you kind of got to pick a litter, and then you get your choice too of whether you take your tight end or whether you go and throw your flex in now and captain your tight end. So a few options available, mate.
I said to you guys that there was one position that I knew I was going to take last in the group chat, because I just think there's like a bunch of guys. I love that. Like, I think quarterback is the easiest week I've ever seen to stream. Like, the matchups, like normally if you go to like filter, quarterback matchups for a week, you're picking and choosing guys that aren't started everywhere, but you're sort of going, oh, that's against the 28th best defense, or it's against the 24th. This is like every single like top 6 or 7 matchup is a streamer. Like is a person that actually fits this actual category. And so I've written them all down, and I was like, well, I know I'm going to take last because I like 7 guys. Like, so I sort of struggle a little bit to pick who I actually think I like the most. What I might do, I might just bring up a tight end first while I think about it. There's even like a few guys, like I've got a few guys written down. I wrote to you, Matty C. I wrote down someone who was 0% started and 0% rostered. So I'll sort of leave and talking about him at the end. Pretty funny though. I didn't actually realize how bad it was. There's a couple of guys that are closer to 50% that I think just have good matchups and pretty decent plays. What I might do, it's tough. I kind of like both of these guys. I've got someone that's 4% started that I like too because of the matchup, but I think I might just go a little bit safer with this one. I think I'm going to go Zach Ertz against Miami. It's 33rd. They're second last against tight end position, 45% started. It's the most like bread and it's basically like plain milk. Like it's like I'm not being adventurous at all by going Zach Ertz. It's just so plain vanilla. Lettuce sandwich at the tight end position if you wanted to go that route. But yeah, I don't know. I just think Mariota's going to.
I think he is. Yeah, he has been the tight end for this segment every week of the year. I don't think there's ever been a week that he doesn't qualify. It was Kyle Pitts up until last week when he was finally started in over 50% of leagues and didn't really help his owners a whole lot. But Zach Ertz, man, he's just kind of he's around like hydrogen, isn't he? He's like 80% of the air, but he's inert.
He is so there. All right.
So, they're playing in Madrid, and that's going to be an early game on sort of Monday morning our time. And so, you'll know whether you had a good game or not by the time you wake up, mate.
All right. I think I'm just going to lean into sort of a take here. Like I said, there's a lot of guys I really like the matchups of, but I kind of brought this guy up a few times between this podcast and the Supercoach pod. I think I'm going to lean in. I'm going to go JJ McCarthy. I think I'm going to go McCarthy against the Bears at home. 26 against the quarterback position, 19% started. Yeah, I don't know. I just kind of trust him. I think he's getting more and more game time under his belt. And if there's ever a get right game for Justin Jefferson and him, I think it's this one. So yeah, I don't trust that Bears defense at all still. And I think this is the kind of game that McCarthy can get going. He can use his legs too. So if he rushes for a touchdown or two, kind of like Jackson Dart did against the Bears last week, it definitely helps the scoring in this format. So, yeah, I'm going to take McCarthy against the Bears.
How about that? We've talked a lot about McCarthy this week too, because we talked about him in the mailbag. We've also talked about him on the Supercoach half earlier in the week, and I'm not surprised to see you take him, but I like that you're sticking neck out. It's the first time he's been taken in the segment this year. I love that.
Yeah, I think there were safer picks, and I just thought, you know what, this is kind of like a leaning into my takes kind of pick, and it's like I've brought him up. I've said multiple times that I liked him today. I'm like, you know what, I'm going to sort of, I've sort of put your balls to the wall. That's what I'm going to do, is sort of trust my own takes on him.
Makes your team look like this as we go into the captaincy round. The next time we'll catch you will be after I pick, then Josh will pick for World. Your team at the moment is McCarthy versus Chicago, 19% started. Harvey versus Kansas City, 46% started. Tucker versus Dallas, 35% started. And Ertz on the road against Miami in Madrid, of all places, 45% started. My team at the moment, Darnold versus the Rams in LA, 31% started. Kareem Hunt versus Denver, 11% started. Jerry Jeudy, and he is 21% started against Baltimore. And, mate, I'm just going to lean in and take my tight end now and just go and take Kate Otten. He's starting in the 30s at the moment. I've got some faith in him from the breakout segment, and we've talked about him through the week as well. I'm just going to go and rest on him, and it gives me complete freedom to go and take that second wide receiver I was foreskinning a little earlier as my captain. We get into the captaincy round. Kate Otten at Buffalo, 33% started. Goes and puts Josh up on the clock. Mate, your team at the moment. Caleb Williams at Minnesota, 45% started. Kenneth Gainwell versus Cincinnati, 23% started. Tez Johnson at Buffalo, same game multi that I'm in there with the Otten pick, but your guy's 29% started. You can pick a tight end or a flex player now from wide receiver and or running back. But whoever you choose now is going to score standard points. In our next round, you get last pick next round, that guy's going to score double points. What are you going to do with the weight of this knowledge now, Josh?
I'm going to go tight end as well.
Nice.
And there was a few I had on my list. Kate Otten, Zach Ertz were definitely up there.
Yeah, I bet.
And I'm going to sort of just have a bit of a crack here. Let's see how we go. I'm going to go for Theo Johnson on the Giants.
Love it.
I just don't know how Jameis Winston's going to go. No one knows how he's going to go. He could have a game. He could just throw a million interceptions. Who knows? But yeah, I think Theo Johnson sort of proved himself this season that he can catch a ball. And yeah, against Green Bay, I think it's a pretty good matchup.
I mean, he is playing all the snaps out there. 3 of his 4 last starts, he's had double-digit points. I mean, things are trending up. And Jameis chucks the pill, Tay, doesn't he? Unbelievable. 22% started. Completely fits the segment, mate. I love that. Your team at the moment got a pair of Johnsons in there now. Tez and Theo, the brothers, who are playing for Buffalo, at Buffalo and at Green Bay, respectively. Kenneth Gainwell and Caleb Williams. We'll come back to you for a last pick in the captaincy round. We now reset the typewriter all the way back to the far end and go to Tay. It's captaincy round, bitch. What are you doing? Double points. Myriad. Did you get a thesaurus for your birthday? That's a fantastic word. Yeah. I mean, projected about 8 or so. You double that. 16, 17 points. It's pretty comfy. Demicado, 27% started against the 49ers in Arizona this week. And I am not going safety, but I'm going the same game. And just not knowing how much a Pearsall reemergence will affect Juwan Jennings or not. Juwan Jennings has gone down in starting percentage. I took him as a wide receiver last week. He scored me 17 points. I wish I took him as my captain. Now I'm going to. Juwan Jennings, welcome to the team, 43% started. Let's rock and roll against that Cardinals defense I'm not super terrified of. And if Pearsall does return, I kind of feel like that just kind of gives Jennings a bit more liberty, especially with Kittle getting around and feeling healthy again. I'm down with it. Juwan Jennings against the Cardinals is going to be my captain. That brings Josh on the clock to wrap this mania up. What do you want to do, man?
I had Jennings.
Sorry, brother.
My captain. I think I'm going to go wide receiver as well. And I'm going to go Troy Franklin with Denver against KC.
He was on my list too.
Yeah, I think he's starting to get the ball sent his way a little bit more. Cortland Sutton's going to attract quite a lot of the Cortland Sutton and Marvin Mims, potentially Mims, but yeah, Cortland Sutton's definitely going to attract most of the corners. They'll shut him down. So yeah, I think Troy Franklin could have another game.
Boom. So there we go. He's locked in. He's 28% started at Kansas City. And I'm going to read down your team for World here, Josh. You've got Caleb Williams as your quarterback, 45% started against Minnesota. Kenneth Gainwell versus Cincinnati, 23% started. Tez Johnson at Buffalo, 29% started. And his brother Theo Johnson, 22% started versus Green Bay. Captain Troy Franklin at Kansas City, 28% started. Solid looking team. How do you feel?
Yeah, I think that's good. There was a couple of other players that I was contemplating. If we look purely at the numbers, I think Brian Thomas Jr. is sitting under 50% at the moment.
Because he's iffy. He may not even play still. He's so
iffy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I mean, one of the running backs I was thinking about as well was Tyler Algier.
Yeah, he was on my list too. Yeah.
Yeah. I think he had a pretty good game last week, but against the Panthers, I think Bijan will just run
right. Stole Bijan's touchdowns last week. Had himself a day in Berlin, mate. He and Drake London, they won't forget Berlin in a hurry. And I'm a bit of a Algier apologist because I think he's got a role anyway, but he is just like the ultimate. What if something happened to Bijan? He's more than good enough to pick up so much of that role. I just kind of love him.
Yeah,
they continue to just have him there, and he continues to want to still play there. So I just kind of think he's in a great situation. He's great for fantasy, and I try and own him in as many leagues as I can for that reason. Very nice team, and some really nice honourable mentions. My side here is Sam Darnold at the Los Angeles Rams, 31% started. Kareem Hunt versus Denver, 11% started. Jerry Jeudy versus Baltimore, 21% started. Kate Otten on the road up in Buffalo, 33% started. My captain is Juwan Jennings versus Arizona, 46% started. And the other guy who was kind of tossing up there was just Michael Wilson in the same game versus the 49ers. I was tossing him up, so... But with the DeMarcado thing, you couldn't do it. And when you didn't take Jennings, it kind of felt like it gave me permission. So he was the one guy I stepped over that I'm like, But everyone else I felt pretty comfortable with. Tate, I think it's lazy analysis to just go, Marv's out, this guy's going to oot. Because it's like, well, actually, is he good enough? I'm not sure he's good enough. Where I think he is a clear 2, that's fine. I don't think he's anybody's 1. So that's kind of what led me away from him, is just having your 1 clear out doesn't necessarily mean you're going to eat. Yeah. The other guy I like is Harold Fannin, but I'd already taken Jerry Jeudy, so that was kind of the end of that. I don't want 2 guys on the same offense whose whole job is to catch a pass. So that kind of caps your upside. Take your side here is JJ McCarthy at Chicago, 19% started. RJ Harvey at Kansas City, 46% started. He could be anything, just depending on what happens with Dobbins and also how good Kansas are. Trey Tucker versus Dallas, 35% started on the Monday night. And Zach Ertz at Miami in Spain, real nice and close to each other, 45% started. Captain is Eddie DeMarcado for the game against San Francisco and Arizona. He's your captain, 27% started. How are you feeling, mate? And who did you step over? That was 0% started, 0% owned. I have to know. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Not a Julian Hill guy. Got it. Okay. Mark Downey will have words with you, mate. Yeah, we'll see. And Josh, mate, you've survived it. When you woke up and you knew that you were going to come and join us for a couple of shows here on the Aussie NFL Fantasy Show, I know Tate probably giving you a little bit of an idea what it was going to be like. But now you survived a couple of days with us. How do you feel? How's the experience? How many chef's hats would you recommend? What's our suit review?
Oh, super! Oh, now you put me on the spot. Now I got to give you a review to your faces.
Yeah. How many chef's hats?
Chef's hats.
I don't know.
Oh, let's go.
Don't have to be stars. It's okay.
Let's go 2.7.
Yeah, okay.
Out of 3.
I'll take that.
It was a lot of fun. It was good fun.
Well, mate, I'm glad you had a good time because it can be, this is one of these things where you play fantasy and fantasy is something that's, it's relatively new to you and you're definitely making your way through the fantasy community and meeting some good people. But turning up on a podcast and having to talk about a whole bunch of stuff isn't necessarily everyone's cup of tea. And I'm really glad you joined us. I've had a great time, mate. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, and don't make it your last time through either. We'd love to see you again because this is one of the great things about the fantasy community is people, there's a lot of opportunity to hop in through here and join us and we welcome it. It's always good to bring folks who've been through it once, come back through and see if they can also run the gauntlet a second time as well if they're up for it. So keep us in mind, mate.
Yeah, well, for sure.
I tell you also, thank you so much for bringing Josh through from the Kelly Cup. We've had so many of the Kelly Cup greats come through, mate.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you. Thanks for bringing me on, Tay.
Tay, mate, thank you for everything you bring. It was a couple of tough weeks without you, mate, but I'm glad you're back. And we've been rocking not just this show, but also the Supercoach Halfer. Mate, I'm just glad that we get the band back together. That halfer this week was, firstly, it was a 1.5er, which is kind of, that's what we've made people accustomed to. But, mate, I had a real blast and I kind of feel like I've got my compass right for the Supercoach this week. And also, like everything that you bring to this show, mate, it's just not the same show without you. Even though we had some great voices and some great personalities come and join us, it's not the same. Yeah, you do. We really have. Namaste, Josh. He's namaste around here any longer than he has to. It's been 3.5 hours.
Let's go.
Fellas, you can catch everything that we do across the Aussie Gridiron Network. We've got G'day Gridiron who are around earlier in the week. They were also around yesterday and they do a great job. You can catch Manjot and I. We actually got together and finally put out a Aussie Gridiron Today this week to catch up with everything that's happened in the ACT Gridiron. You can catch myself commentating the games from this week, week 8 in the ACT Gridiron, and you'll find that on YouTube at American Football ACT. Also, you'll find the Supercoach Halfer right here on the Aussie Gridiron Network. It comes out Thursday every week. And of course, what we did on Friday, you'll never know unless you check it out. We put Josh through poor bugger had to go through the moves with breakouts. He also had to do the tipping points to find out how that went. And mate, he was an absolute star today with a segment we didn't prepare him for with the 5 questions from 2 wankers. All of that and more every single week right here on the Aussie Gridiron Network all season long, right through until the end of the year. And then you get the playoff specials through January. We are so thankful of everyone's support for our little network and all the shows we put together. And every time we see somebody just click one more listen to anything we do, Tay, I feel so grateful. I know that you do too. Oh, no, absolutely. Also, before I leave, I just want to give out one more big shout out to Randall McSupercobb, Yarpin, Pettis in my Butker, however many names you want to go by, Tom, who leads our Supercoach Halfer League. He also is kicking everybody's ass in this in our Red League. For all our listeners, I just want to give you one last shout out. Enjoy your time over in Vanuatu, and hopefully by the time you get back to Australia, it's leveled off the playing field and we can all start to catch up to you, mate. But catch us everywhere on the Aussie Gridiron Network. We'll see you all next week here on the Aussie NFL Fantasy Show. Hooroo, lads.
See ya.
The Aussie NFL Fantasy Show. Thanks to the Aussie Gridiron Network, Australia's home for NFL and Australian gridiron content. Discover everything the network has to offer, including G'day Gridiron, Pastry Press, NFL, and Aussie Gridiron Today. Buy merch and win free stuff. Visit the mothership at linktree/Aussie Gridiron Network. Hooroo!